Welcome back, Bots and Bits fans. Today we are taking a good look at the Yes Model RF04 Axle, their knockoff oversized version of the Mucky Toys Axle. Yeah, they went with the exact same name. And you know what, they did the same thing with Rover. Actually, I did intend to review this guy, but I just completely ran out of time. So just quickly, for the price, he's great. He's great. I mean, the hands kind of suck. The paint on the face isn't the greatest. Joints are all good. It transforms, holds together well. I recommend Rover. Now, I bought this axle from showzstore.com. They gave me a great price, had plenty in stock, shipped it out super quick. So if you're interested in buying one of these, I highly recommend that you go check out their site. Links are in the description. Axle's box has some pretty neat artwork on it all the way around and on the back. Yeah, whatever. On to Axle's crazy amount of accessories. So what we have is a pretty basic and ordinary looking grey gun. It's pretty hollow on the inside, but from these grooves I would say this connects with the other one. Someone else's gun maybe. Grey plastic is pretty consistent, which is pretty unusual really. Usually cheap grey plastic is swirly as but this, no, that's fine. We get some instructions which all seem pretty clear. He's a complex little bot. Alright, back up to Axle, and while I have his gun out, let's just see how well he holds it. It's a tight fit, but it does go all the way in. There you have it. Holds it just fine. Massive gun for such a scrawny guy. Alright, on to Axle himself. Now, I'm not going to critique the design or engineering all that much because, you know, we know what we're getting. Yes Model didn't design it, Mucky Toys did, so I'm going to avoid it. The paint done on Axle, right, is that there isn't a lot of it, but what there is done to an incredibly high standard in my opinion. We've got the gold here on the chest. You're going to focus there, have a look at that. That gold is done really nice, especially in the face. There's a very, very rich, very reflective gold, and you can see we've got a bit of clear red plastic here for the eyes. Looks like it should be light piped, but it's not. It's just a solid back of the head. That would have been better, maybe with something reflective. Yeah, I don't know. Bit of clear plastic here on the side. That looks awesome. Have a lot of silver paint, like silver done here, silver all through here, and there's no chips, there's no scratches, no speckling. It is a very, very even coat. This looks like a bit of grey paint inside the forearm here. That's done very nicely. Bit of grey paint just on the side here. A little bit fuzzy along the edge, but for the price you're paying, that's nothing. The orange taillights here are done really well. Slight overspray, but that's not too bad. Nice gold on the inside there. Bit of clear plastic as well. The gold here is done pretty well. Yeah, overall the paint is just the paint's really consistent. Look, there's no spots. Like they would come up really clearly on this. There's no spots, no marks. A little bit of black right there, just a little hairline. But that appears to be pretty much it. Paint, consistent and well done, I think. Alright, so onto the joints. So this guy is super posable, but the tolerances are a little bit hit and miss. Especially, I've had this for over a week now, and I've been messing about with it a fair bit because I found the bot so interesting. And some of my joints have started to loosen up a little bit. So we'll just start at the top. We've got head on a ball socket there, and we've got a hinge there, so we can get some pretty great looks. The shoulders are on this hinge here with a little flap. See that? That moves up and down, so you want that underneath there for the head to sort of sit on the shoulders properly. When you move it up, it sort of hits the head and moves it out of place. Then we've got a ball socket here. Now that one is quite good. This one here is much tighter. And then with the bicep swivel, over time, over a week and a half or so, that bicep swivel has become pretty, so much on this side, but on this side, it's come pretty loose. Thankfully though, the elbows, the double jointed elbows are still super tight. And then the wrists, a little bit floppy on mine. Hang on, there's so much stuff on this guy. These panels in the back, they're really annoying when you're like trying to pose them or move them around. Now down to the hips. I wasn't going to comment too much on the engineering, but they could have fixed, I don't know. Yeah, Yes Model with their Seekers, they did some great things to make a great product. So this guy really needed something like a tab just in there, or I don't know. He needed something, because this whole hip situation it's a situation, I'll tell you. So anyway, right, the two joints in here, these two bendy joints here, they're nice and stiff, those ones. So his hips will hold in place pretty well when you bring them down. And I like to put the crutch plate just like that, instead of like that, how it's meant to be. That just, nah, that doesn't sit well with me. So yeah, these two joints up the top here do sit pretty well. It's when you get to these lower hip joints, so like my out, that has ended up becoming quite loose. It is just a screw. Look at this thing. That looks like it's meant to be a ratchet. You see that? That's got, inside this circle bit, we've got little clicks, little ratchets. That looks like that was meant to be ratcheted. Anyway, so yeah, so they're getting a little bit loose over time. They are just a screw. I'm sure if I tightened it, it would be fine, but then it will eventually loosen as well. Forward and back, not too bad on that side, but on this side, it will hold. See, look, he holds a pose. It doesn't resist much. Do you understand? It just doesn't resist much. And that's not a screw. That's a that's like a push plug. Seeing that? They haven't fixed anything with the leg going back. It still only goes to there, but you do get the kick all the way up. Double jointed knees, which are great. Is it double jointed? Yeah, double jointed knees. Just get you all the way around to there. They're nice and stiff. They don't feel like they're failing or getting loose or anything. Not bad. Now when it comes to the feet, we've got... I do like the design of this, sort of. It's a bit of a shitty design for the feet, but it is very reminiscent of the original Groove, with how the seat would come around and become his feet. So with these feet, you get the whole foot like that, which doesn't really achieve anything, and then you get a tilt, right? But it doesn't want to go all the way flat. See? So yeah, it's just sort of flicking back. And this one's on an angle. I do prefer to standing with a little bit of an A stance, but as you can see with the feet there, look down. They're going in, and instead of flat, they're like that. Yeah, so that's really my only major fault so far in bot mode. That isn't a fault of Mucky Toys engineering, is just those toes not turning in. I'm sure if I took them off the mushroom peg, I'd be able to find, maybe it's just like a bit of a sprue mark, or is it touching the wheel? I think I might be touching the wheel. Ah well. Overall, his bot mode is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. And the oversized scale that they've used matches Masterpiece pretty well. So we'll just bring in Prow. Prow's looking a little bit dated now, isn't he? And I've got the Fans Want It hands on there. Yeah, Prow looks a little bit dated. Then we'll bring in Transform Missions. I can't remember what he was. Havoc, maybe? I don't know. These two combined up is what I'm sort of looking for. Have Menasor and Defensor in a similar style as well. Having these two next to each other, right, you can see the difference in finish. So like $120 Australian versus like $55 Australian. There's going to be a huge difference in finish. I wonder if it will make much of a difference when it comes to combining them though. We'll have to wait and see. Now, before I get on to transformation, I will just mention one improvement Yes Model have said that they've made. Apparently on the Mucky Toys version, the handlebars or the brakes or whatever were prone to snapping. They've put up a video of them flexing the handlebars quite a bit. I'll see if I can just put it up in the corner here. Having it in hand and feeling this plastic, it feels brittle. It feels rough, it feels brittle. Hang on, just listen to this. Could you hear that? That was me just rubbing my finger over the plastic, and you can hear the brittleness in it. There's a little bit of flex. I don't really want to tempt fate too much, but there's a little bit going on. Hopefully that means something to someone. Now, with all of that out of the way, I'm going to take you through the transformation and check out the vehicle mode. Alright, so when it comes to transformation, this guy is a little complex, but not impossible. To begin with, we're just going to raise this crutch section here and fold this out, just like that. And then we have this little ball, oh, this has come off. So we might as well just take that off now, that little white section. And we have a ball socket here that's also on a slider, so we're just going to grab this and shift it forward like that. Then we're going to come around to here, and these two chest sections, they're just on a double hinge. Just sort of shimmy them both down. On mine, they're very, very stiff. And then just put them together and they just tab in like that. And then we're going to just get the arms out the way. Now to start with the legs, let's just untab this saddlebag bit here, turn it around, fold it over, and tab it into its other side, just on a double hinge, and then I'm going to grab this double hinged knee here, rock it back, and then just slot it in like that. It fits in really, really nicely. Next step is this gold and grey detail here that just sort of collapses on itself like that. See? Now when you're intending to transform him back, let me just grab something to push it out with. Hang on. So when you want to transform it back, you open up this and see this raised section here. You push on that, it's very tight, and the detail comes back out, but it needs to go a little bit further, just like that. See? Alright, so let's just collapse that in, reclose that saddlebag like that. Now we're going to move these sort of hip hinges in forward, and then just fold this around like so on both sides, and then push them in together. Make sure you get them even. So if they're uneven, this isn't going to tab in properly. So that's pretty even like that. And then while we're down here, let's just get these toes out of the way like that. Now I'm going to grab the seat, and we'll just get this one leg out of the way. We're going to get this little silver section in here, just underneath the seat, and then grab this section and just wedge that in there. I've found that this does have a little bit of a clearance issue, and you got to get it really lined up absolutely perfect, or this whole wheel segment in the back just won't come together. So it's raised up a little bit now. So now that that's in, let's just fold all that in together. Bring the opposite leg up. See, that sort of come out again. It's just, you just got to fiddle with it just a little bit. Bring it in like that, and now that that's in there, let's just push all that together. Next step is folding these toes down. So you've got a tab here and a tab there. So I'm just gonna move all this out of the way actually, and then just tab that in right there. It's a little bit tight. Doesn't really want to go in. There's just a slight distance problem with it. And just do this side. So it's just very slightly off. See that? And then when I tab it in, it's probably going to separate this wheel. It's just, yeah, I'm not sure what the deal with that is. Oh no, it held together. Probably should have done this earlier, but we're just going to do it now. The sides of this foot or toe, you're going to bring that in just like that. And then these bits are just going to sit here for now. Yep, just like that. See how those bits sort of come together? So we'll do this arm first with the exhaust on it. Now we're just going to rock all this down, rock this out, and with this elbow we're going to sort of fold it back on itself like that, and then just shimmy all this in and turn this fist around that way and bring the exhaust up, and bring this section around just for now, and this all should tab in. So we've got a tab here, and you've got a tab hole inside the forearm there. So we're just going to, it doesn't really want to go at first, but once it tabs in securely, it holds really well. So you just got to give it a bit of pressure there, just like that. Fold that hand up a little bit so the fingers are out of the way of this rear axle bit. Bring that up. Now we're not done. You got to put a panel on there, but we're not going to do that just yet. Bring this panel out of the way. Now this needs to rock in a little bit further because this elbow is going to tab in underneath there, just like that. See, it all sort of sits very flush. And then bring this panel down like so. Put the silver bit in just underneath the light. And these are all meant to tab in very smoothly, but mine, they just sort of sit there. So it's not really that secure. You got a big gap. This side's a little bit more complex. So it's the same deal with the shoulder. So that section wants to go up there. Rotate this around. It's got a hard time just getting out of the way itself. And then with the elbow, same deal. Fold it back on itself like that, and then just force all that in. But this one is going to come over, and we're going to grab this wrist on the hinge and bring it around, and you've just got to sort of like bend it around just like that, and then when all this collapses in, the fist will go right into place. Yeah, there we go. Just keep pushing it, and it will all just sort of sit where it needs to go. Then grab this panel, fold it down. Let's just get this wheel out the way a bit. Push all that in, get this bit here underneath the light. And there's a tab just in between these two panels to hold it all together. It still doesn't sit very well. Oh, focus. It still doesn't sit very well, but it's good enough. Now when it comes up to the head, this is a colossal pain in the ass. You got to sort of have the head facing that way, fold the neck in as far as it goes, and then bring the head back as far as it go, like that. Let's just bring these handlebars out of the way. Now this takes a bit of pressure and a bit of force. You just got to trust that it won't break. I think that's it. And then you've got to get these two shoulder flap bits from earlier. They've got to go just above these indicators, and it is not a nice feeling at all. There, just you've actually got to put quite a bit of pressure on it, but if the head's in the right position, it'll be fine. Then fold these handlebars down over the back of the head and just bring the wheel back up. There's a soft tab, but it doesn't hold, so it just sort of sits there like that. This is all come undone again, so let's just tab all that back in. I find that this tab in the back wheel just is not very secure at all. Comes out at the easiest of things. Grab your panel from before, then just tab it into the side of the exhaust here. It's a bit fiddly, but this is actually a pretty tight fit. It really doesn't want to go, but it will get in there. And there we have it. Well, the exhaust isn't really sitting in any particular position. That's actually getting a little bit floppy now, actually. That's not great. Whatever. We've got a kickstand on this side, so let's just put that down and take a look. Get on it. No, it's a bit too heavy on that side. Doesn't want to do it, so I'm just going to lean it back. Just like that. Alright, so let's just take a quick look at him. Now, you know, he's a cool little Honda bike. There's not really too much else to say about him, really. Most of it holds together pretty well, although, you know, like I mentioned before, do have the gaps just in there. That's gotten really loose now, and this whole back section comes apart quite easily. But if you're not really touching it or doing much, yeah, you're going to be fine. Details wise, looks good. The rest of it all holds together well. Now I have lost a little bit of paint just in this seat section up here. You can see I've transformed this a couple of times, and I've got white chips just up there. On the inside I've got a few chips and that, which is a little bit disappointing because in bot mode all of that inside is quite exposed. It's the inside of his calf just up in there, so you do notice it. So, but yeah, what else are you going to do, really? It's a cool looking bike. Smoked headlights, smoked windshield. The handlebars do look good. All of the detail looks great. Wheels spin nice and freely, although this back wheel is actually two wheels joined together, so they do spin opposite directions. You have that nice silver detail just inside there. Nice silver disc brakes right there. You can't really turn it without untabbing it, and then it doesn't really go in right, so it's sort of sticking out a bit. It would have been a cool gimmick if you could have done that and still have it look cool, but yeah, whatever. Can't really roll it that well because it just sort of falls over and slides, not going fast enough to balance. But yeah, alright, that's pretty much it. Alright, so final thoughts wise, is it worth it and should you buy it? For me, this is a definite yes, actually. The bot mode looks great. It looks really, really close to the Make Toys original, which was a much smaller bot, obviously. So upsizing it, it's gonna, detail-wise, it might look a little bit simple, especially when comparing to Transform Mission, you know. But for the cash, I think you're getting a really good deal. And it's the same with their Rover, the Streetwise. A couple of his joints have started to loosen up a little bit after a week or so of play. Yeah, all that aside, I still recommend it. His bot mode looks fantastic. The paint, especially the gold paint that they've used, looks great. The plastic quality is really good, and I stressed a lot of this, and not a single crack, stress mark, nothing. I think when this whole set is complete, Defensor is going to look fantastic. He's going to look awesome. If you haven't picked one up yet, I highly suggest that you do, and also just suggest that you grab their Streetwise as well. Now, if you have any comments, questions, love, or corrections, please leave them below. If you like what I'm doing and you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Remember to check out my Facebook for daily news and updates on KO and third-party stuff. I also have a new Instagram account, #botsandbits, all one word. And as always, guys, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for watching.